Good morning, Painting One. This is going to be your demonstration video for week 3 of home learning, right? First week of home learning, we learned about analytical cubism. Second week of home learning, we learned about geometric minimalism as an abstract form and the rules about, balancing positive and negative space. Today, we are going to be working on a different kind of abstraction, okay? This abstraction that we're working on comes to us from the New York School of Abstract Painting, and it's called action painting, okay? So, as you can see, I'm trying to work a little bit bigger here, okay? What I'm using is the inside of a brown paper Publix bag, which is something that you can have available. If you have larger paper at home, or if you have a poster board, this type of artwork works when you're working big, okay? So I want you to try to use kind of a larger piece of paper if you can. Okay. Again, like right now, I'm just using the brown inside part of a Publix shopping bag, right? Now, action painting is a school of art that was kind of invented in the 30s, 40s, 50s. It was a group of painters based in New York that what they were trying to do is they were trying to create designs that weren't so planned out. It was more about looking at the action of the motion of how they were moving their hands and their bodies across the canvas, right? So the way that this works is you're going to take your charcoal, your dark pencil, or your, actually I should use charcoal for this. I don't want to use a wax pencil. Okay, and you are, without really thinking about it, you're going to allow your hand to move however it wants, whatever kind of symbol it wants to make, so I'm going to go like this, like this, like this, and like that. Okay, so I made an abstract mark. Now, because I didn't really think about what I was doing, right? And I wasn't trying to copy another line that a different artist has made, this line has never been created by anybody before. It is completely original. One of the big issues in abstract art is trying to be as original as you can with the kind of artwork that you're trying to invent, right? So when I made this mark, which was, unplanned, right? I was being completely original. This is not a mark that has been made by anyone else, right? So now, the way that you develop the whole page, and this is done with like kind of big marks, is you make your first mark, and then you allow your first mark to kind of inspire the next mark, right? So I'm looking at what I've done here, and now I'm going to go like, okay, I'm going to go like this, and maybe I'm going to follow this way. And then I'm going to maybe go around here, and then I'm going to connect these two things together. Okay, so now I've made my second mark, and the second mark is inspired by the first mark, right? And then eventually I keep on going. I'm going to look over here and be like, okay, I'm going to take this curve, and I'm going to follow this curve around. Right? And then I'm going to bring it down. I'm going to bring it down to the bottom of the page. and then I'm going to allow my hand to make like a little swirly mark, and then that's my third mark, right? And then so on and so forth, filling the paper. Eventually you want each mark, you want to allow your hand to move the way that it wants to, but you want to show each mark that you've made, and you want to move across the entire page. So kind of like this. So you can see that in the process of doing this, you work across the page, eventually filling the page with an abstract, almost like a pattern. Some of the shapes might repeat themselves, but the idea and the reason why this was considered a very important school of American art is that to be able to do this and do this well, it isn't as arbitrary as you might think it is, right? When you make your original mark, when you make that first motion, right, your body is moving in a very particular way, and it's being original in that first instinctive move, right? And then to continue the composition of the paper, you have to be awake and aware of what your hand is doing, allowing each mark to inspire the next mark so that you create something that is flowing and beautiful and intricate and special, because this work of art could have only been created in this moment of time, right? And that becomes a philosophical idea. That becomes the artwork is almost what's called time specific. It was this moment on this day that my arm decided to move like this, right? And then in me being aware and awake and really thinking about how I'm moving my hand around the page, I create something that is intricate and beautiful and almost Byzantine in its how complicated it is, right? Now, I'm working on a piece of, again, a piece of public shopping bag that I just kind of cut open and opened up, and then I started drawing across it, right, after I straightened it out a little bit. Right? If you don't have access to anything big, it's okay to do it small. It is a fun activity if you can get a little bit bigger, because then your arm can make some larger motions and you have a little bit more control over what it is that you're doing, right? Eventually, you do want to develop this with color, right? You can use crayons. You can keep on making marks with crayons or pastels. You can do this in watercolor if you're using a very thin line brush, and you can just keep on adding colors, following the motions of what it is that you're doing, right? And you want to make it colorful and beautiful and fun. I'll post how this one ends at the end of the video so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, have a good third week. Have fun with this, and hopefully see you soon.